All right, I'll kick off just very quickly here. Thanks very much for having me, and thanks especially to Todd and Maria again for inviting me to talk. I'll get straight into it. The sharing economy. So just to paraphrase what we've already heard so far, sharing has existed, since we've been around. I think what we're finding now is that with the advent of technology and the internet, is that we're now doing it in a formalized way. And perhaps when we once did it with mates, we're potentially now doing it with strangers. Personal example here. Up on the screen is my own Airbnb listing. I like to use this as an example because, as you can see, my Airbnb listing comes with a go-get in the driveway. So it's such a lovely example of all bases covered, right? Airbnb, you've got a roof over your head, and through car share, you have access to 4 wheels. All right, now let's hone in on that automobile for a second. How many car owners in the room? Right, heaps. Don't worry, we don't shame on car owners, it's all good. You guys would know this already, but the cost of car ownership is 10 grand a year. Many of these costs, such as depreciation, you're not really cognizant of, and they're sunk. They're effectively money thrown away. And that's where car share comes in. So car share, membership-based, sign up to use the service on either a personal or a business level. You get access to our network of vehicles, which you can use by the hour or by the day. Really straightforward and seamless. Why do we do it? Well, we've already seen so far in this presentation that the financial aspect is a big one, and people stand to save heaps of money by car sharing. It's also greener and more sustainable. The go-to statistic for car share, of course, is that each car shared through the service takes between 10 to 14 privately held cars off the road. I spoke about convenience. Bear in mind that each one of our some 2,000 vehicles nationwide is located locally, close to where our members live and work, so that you can literally step out of your office or your home and swipe into your go-get booking. And then finally, what we find is that having signed up for the service, our members are actually engaging sort of up to 40% more than the average population in active transport, and they more often use public transport as well. All right, and locally, this is what the growth of the services look like in your very own Adelaide. Each of those dots on the heap map represents a member sign up, and I'm really excited to mention that sort of nationwide, we've just clocked over to 100,000 members, which I think is a really significant milestone for car share in Australia. App booking process. Couldn't be easier. Open up the app, it geolocates you, it presents to you a list of your nearest vehicle options. You just click on one that's available, you make your booking, and you go down to the car to swipe in at the start time. Another terrific aspect of car share, of course, is that you're not limited to the only vehicle that you own. I don't need to go through each one, but you can see from the slide that we have a vehicle type to suit any need that you might have. And a quick note here on the relationship between the public and private sector, and in our case, this means industry working very closely with local city councils, and these are just some of the city councils we work with across the nation. I like to use the example of Adelaide City Council just quickly. As a city council which provides or facilitates the provision of car share by reallocating certain bays for us to operate the service from, but it has also endorsed car share sort of one step further by signing up for the service itself. And in so doing, they've retired half of their city fleet and saved upwards of $100,000 in their first 10 months of usage. Some initiatives that GoGet is working on. We aim to provide mobility services for everyone. So from wheelchair accessible vehicles, we accommodate student drivers all the way up to seniors plans. We install baby seats into cars, as well as designating certain ones to be pet friendly. So once again, any need or desire that you would have for your own car, we want to accommodate that through CarShare. Another initiative of GoGet's that I'm particularly passionate about is this relationship between what we do in the mobility space and the urban landscape. And we work with architects and developers and project managers of all shapes and sizes. And again, we're really helping to shape that urban environment. Next up, many of you may have heard the term mobility as a service, or MaaS, which is essentially all these different transport options integrated into a single platform, of which CarShare will be one of the integral options. And then the autonomous buzzword. On this front, we've partnered with the University of New South Wales to pursue self-driving research, and Ethel the Yaris pictured there has recently done its first trip in autonomous mode. And by all accounts, I think there need to be some tweaks to the system yet to allow it to turn comfortably. But the fact of the matter here is this is actually happening as we speak. All right, we stand at this point at a pivotal moment in the transport industry. From this point onwards, heading into the autonomous future, we can do one of two things. We can embrace the autonomous future from a shared perspective, right? Which pretty much is what this infographic centers on. Or the alternative is we can keep on going down this track of private car ownership, which will lead to more congested streets, more urban sprawl, which is what this slide speaks to. At GoGet, we certainly know what we're working towards. And bringing it all the way back to the present moment, and with the Share initiative upon us, I'd like to put the challenge back on you. I know the entries are open. GoGet knows which of those two scenarios we're working towards, and we'd love to work you to achieve that same end. Thanks very much.